Howdy there, ladies and gentlemen. This is White Lightning. Welcome back to Space Engineers. It's great to be with you this evening. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and comment. Let me know what you think, and also subscribe to the channel for more Space Engineers videos. Last time we left off, I had worked on a reactor room, which is through those double doors behind me. I'm back here in our really nice hallway passageway, which is nice. I'm thinking it could use a door or something to somewhere, maybe a couple of little rooms off to the side or something like that. That's what we did last time, and today we'll be working a little bit more on the base building, and probably going to work on the big crater out there that the Minnow is parked, well, what used to be the Minnow and is now an integral, however you say that word, part of the base is now parked out there, so we'll be working on that. Just looking around here, you guys can see I did a little bit of greebling interior here. Still need to do some painting. In fact, if you see that, you see those silver blocks? I'm actually pretty excited about those. It's the first time I've used that silver texture, really. That's in the fairly recent DLC. Sun is just going down behind that asteroid, so we'll be out of solar power soon. That's okay, though. I'm thinking for the base, we go with a theme of kind of the gray as the base, but then some red and then some silver. Look at how good that those blocks look painted silver. They're even shiny if you turn off your headlights. I think that's really cool. I think that's really exciting. I'm excited to see that in the light. This is what I have so far, is this stairwell that kind of wraps up to this level, and this will be kind of the start of the main level of the base. We can get... Hold on, what is that out there? Is that a piece of wreckage or something, or is that like a... Huh, I don't know what that is. That might be an asteroid? Hard to know. We could go check it out, but on the other hand, I'm scared and I want to stay here close to base. Yeah, we'll continue on with this next episode, but like I said, for today, I kind of want to start rearranging some things over in this direction, start making this into a little bit less of a haphazard mess, which it is currently right now. A couple of you were saying that Refinery, I should definitely be running the yield modules instead of the speed modules. I would do that, and I totally agree with you. Yield modules take superconductors, though, and I don't have hardly any gold. Definitely not enough to put down some yield modules. So we're running speed module for now. I know it's less efficient, but that's what we have to work with, so we will continue working with it. But yeah, I'm thinking, I did a lot of thinking, a lot of personal reflection time, thinking about what to do with the base, and that's actually really hard for, it was actually really hard for me. It's a hard time for me to try to decide what to do with base building and stuff, because there's so many options and so many ways it can go poorly and go wrong. What I've kind of decided is to scrap my plans to make this a glassed-in dome, and I'm actually probably going to make this little area over here more of that glassed-in dome that will have the greenhouse and everything. That'll be located over in kind of in this hole. We'll build a little structure there that makes sense. But in here, I'm thinking we have one refinery down here, we have our assemblers down here. I'm thinking this would be a great spot to just make into our permanent, for real, forever location for refinery stuff. So let's go ahead and just have it. You have none texture. How much texture? None texture. And let's go ahead and start throwing down some floor. I'm going to use these half light armor blocks. Part of the reason is if I want to pressurize this, and I'm thinking that I do, you need to have no voxels. Suit energy is low. That seems like it always happens to me. That's one reason to pressurize things, is because your suit energy doesn't run low quite so often. Let's go ahead and gas up here. One reason is for the voxels, you have to... sorry, I can't remember what I was trying to say. Yeah, to pressurize something, you can't have any voxels clipping into your block, and you can't pressurize on voxels. Like, maybe you can have voxels clipping in, but you definitely can't pressurize just the rock, which is kind of a shame. It'd be nice if we could do that. On the other hand, kind of makes sense how we can't. That would just be a lot of calculation. And remember how air tightness was in, and I think we all forget about this, but air tightness was actually in the experimental stage for so freaking long, even though I played the game with air tightness on for years, it seems like, while it was in experimental stage. But yeah, that's one thing to remember, is that it would take a lot of computation probably to be able to pressurize voxels. Maybe in the next version of Space Engineers, which I'm hoping there will be, like a sequel. The imminent release next year, which is really exciting, of Kerbal Space Program 2. It's got me thinking about sequels in general, and how I wouldn't probably be opposed to a sequel to Space Engineers. Like, the game is now, when did it first come out? 2013? And I think I had it in either 2013 or 2014. It was super early. I remember playing the game when it was not much to look at, really. Only single player, no pressurization, no NPCs hardly at all. Like, old school stuff, right? Is what I remember back in my day. And things have changed a lot. But I can only imagine what they'd be able to do with an official version of the game that is newer and has, you know, all the new technologies and stuff like that. And yeah, I would be excited to see something like that. So I'm not opposed to seeing and in fact I would say that I hope that we see a Space Engineers 2 at some point in the future. Go ahead and paint all this stuff pink here, because I'm gonna want to raise this up at least one block. Kind of want to at least one block. I'm thinking maybe we go more than that. Yeah, we'll have to find kind of the center of the zone here. By the way, I do have an extra build and repair system placed down, so we now have 2 on the base. I could put even more. I don't know. I was kind of thinking of trying to limit the number of build and repairs and stuff that I put down, just so it's not quite as cheaty. I don't know. Not the build and repair system is cheaty. I mean, I use it all the time, and if you're going to cheat a little bit, you might as well cheat a lot, or, you know, I don't know. But yeah, fewer build and repair systems, not just spamming them down, seems to make a degree of sense to me. I don't know. You guys can weigh in with what you think. Let's wait for this to get kind of ground down. Have one's corn ground. It's an old euphemism for what I'm about to use another euphemism for, which is doing the nasty. Kind of interesting. So it's looking like that cargo container truly is smack dab on top, like in the center of the crater, which is good, I guess. That's kind of where I was wanting to place it. Might want to move it at some point, but for now, we're going to use it as the base that we use to build kind of a central mast type thing, is what I'm thinking. That can then become the new roof of the dome. And I want that dome to be mostly steel, maybe with some windows set into it and stuff like that, and extend out and cover with an area that's mostly windows. Cover the Minnow here, so you can kind of see the Minnow from the outside. It still remains as the core of our base. You know, we remember our roots when we started off with just the normal starter survival ship. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's stupid to be thinking that way, but I think it's kind of fun. Okay, wait for that to get ground all the way down. And is that high enough, or should we go one more? And would it look strange if we went one more? I'm thinking let's go ahead and go up one higher. Something like that. And then we could have a row of windows, just like 1x1 windows, that comes down the center line here of this little dome. And I'm kind of digging that idea. Let's go and grab our windows. Where's like our not our 1x1, but let's say our 2x1. Could go 3x3. There's a 2x3. I don't think that's the answer. Let's maybe try the 3x3, and I'm gonna need girders for this. Lots of girders. I'm gonna have to make some girders too, probably. Girders. Are there any in here? Nope. Use search bar. Search bar is your friend always. Girders, and there are girders in here. There we go. Oh, and I can fit a lot of girders in my inventory. That's weird. It's weird when you have a limited inventory and you actually realize like that not all components are created equal, and some are bigger and heavier than others. Motors, for example, take up way more space than I would expect them to. Girders, apparently not so much. Okay, so we put down some nice 3x3 flat windows, and got to get that placed on the edge there, out to about that far. And then what say we to the like 2x1 windows? That's the 1x1 slope, 1x2 slope. Something like this. you guys are having a good first day of fall. That's when I'm recording this, and I love it. Every year, except it's kind of funny, every year on the first day of fall, I see the Onion posts that article about the guy who's like insufferably happy that it's fall, Mr. Autumn Man they call him, and that's kind of how I feel, which is like I feel kind of self-conscious about that because I don't want to be super basic or anything, but at the same time I just like legitimately love it when it gets to autumn. It is genuinely a happy time for lightning. Who now refers to himself at times in the third person. Go ahead and place this. I discovered the Mystic Construction Guild. Really? Well, they sound mystical and mysterious. Also, I've noticed that I'm down to just one turret on the base, which is a little bit alarming. We'll hopefully rectify that sooner rather than later. Let's go ahead and grab... definitely don't need 110 girders kicking around in my inventory. Let's grab some more steel plates. There we go. Now we can start, or keep placing these blocks, rather. Okay, so it'll probably be less of a dome structure and more of just like a, I don't know, some sort of wigwam-looking structure. I don't know. Don't know what to call that. Let's put down one of these, and then, how would these look? Not great. But I'm going to need something to be able to connect the other bits onto. Okay, so what if we do something like this, and now that gives me the option to start placing these. We'll go up that direction, and then let's put down this block here. Why, you ask? I'll tell you, I ask. So we can just use the light armor slopes here. So it's not quite so drastic a... I don't know, so it's not quite so drastic a change and kind of curve away from the glass. You know, we get a little bit of a slant there, which actually looks pretty good. What are we missing here on this window? Probably bulletproof glass. Yeah, bulletproof glass is what we lack. We should have a lot of silicon kicking around. That reminds me I need to set up another LCD screen that shows the... Yeah, give me 1,000 bulletproof glass. We're going to need a lot of that. Another LCD screen that shows our inventory status currently. And then we drop down another one of these. And then again with the armor on either side. Don't want too much glass because it's not quite as durable as steel plates, and also tends to look a bit boring if you don't have like ribs and stuff of steel and armor plating supporting the glass and making it a little more interesting, greebling it basically. And I don't actually need you. Let's grind you down. There we go, get some more steel plates for further construction. That's great. Okay, so that's a decent start. Obviously we need some lights in there that will actually shine out and light up that glass, but that's starting to be kind of what I'm envisioning. Now, things to think about next are how far we're going to go out with that dome and how we're going to work on walling off the inside of this dome so that we can end up pressurizing it. Ultimately, obviously we're a ways away from being able to do that, but I would ultimately like this pressurized. So given that this is the center, how much space do we have to go either way? I'm trying to get an eyeball on this refinery. This refinery is what, 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks wide. I'm thinking we'd go 1, and then 2, and then 3. And then that won't leave much space on this side of the dome for refineries. Like I can put assemblers or cargo containers or something in these 2 blocks. I'm thinking I start walling things off either here or in one farther. Let's try that. Let's go in one farther into the rock, which means that it's going to be some drill work, which is not always ideal, especially when it's super dark. Wow. I am using the Space Just Got Real mod, which is super nice for just, I think, heightening the immersion and stuff with the game. Some people were saying that on YouTube it can make it kind of hard to see. If all of you agree, I can take the mod out. Let me know if you have any problems with seeing or hearing, or any issues like that. I am far from a professional, and so I'm always happy to hear like, hey, you could improve on this, I would appreciate this more. That kind of stuff is never something that I'm going to be upset with, as long as it's done kindly. I said that and then I was like, wait, I might actually possibly be upset with that sometimes. Only if it's unkind, though. Just be nice, whatever you do. Dealing with me, dealing with people in your life, just be nice. It's been really interesting going through my master's program that I'm going through right now. Talking to people, like there are 50 of us in my first year cohort. And we actually all know each other really well, which is kind of strange because I've never been in an academic setting where that is the case, where I know other people like in my class as well. Besides like high school, I went to a high school with 250 people in it. There were 62 in my graduating class. So yes, I definitely knew everybody in my graduating class. But even then, it wasn't like I didn't know a lot of people super well. Why all of that is in the one small reactor and not the big one, I don't know. Let's go ahead and move that. Let's also check the refiner here. Okay, looks like we are done refining our uranium, which means what we have is what we've got. Only enough fuel for 10 hours. Oh, that should be plenty of time. I'll make a uranium run before then. But yeah, so since high school, since I left that graduating class of only 62, I haven't been in an academic setting. Really any setting where we have known each other, where I've known my peers as well as I now know my peers in my master's program, which is kind of cool. And it's especially cool because we've started really opening up with each other about some of the issues we might be facing, and some of the issues we may have faced in the past, specifically thinking of like mental health issues and things like that. And like some of my classmates have struggled with that, and I've struggled with it, and we've actually been able to we've started a little mini support group that meets every Thursday. We meet every Thursday, and just it sounds lame and strange, but we just talk about our feelings for 30 minutes, and we have a room reserved in the college building, and we just talk about our feelings for a while. And that's been a really cool experience, and it's been really nice to be able to help each other like that. So I don't know, that's something I'm starting to feel more interested in and more passionate about. There's a flush there. You guys can add a tally to your flush counter if you're playing along at home. Okay, what do we want to do next? That is the question. So I actually probably no longer need this in the center here. That was just something to get started off, connecting the windows and bits to. The glass is now connected to, should be connected to that far end there. Okay, so we should be okay. Now, can I do something like, don't want to just run a straight thing of light armor blocks across. What if we do something like, don't really want to do that either. Could change this back to a thing of squares. That's not the worst idea. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's go back to the square here. Thing of squares. Me and my squad. And I also appreciate a lot of... Oh, that miner's going to be in the way, so we'll want to move that before we get too much further along. Although we don't have to get the thing pressurized today. In fact, we're definitely not going to get the thing pressurized today, just looking at the time. It'd just be nice to have... And there's a meteor storm inbound, but that's okay because we are on the shady side of the asteroid right now. Let's go ahead and just put the light armor block down like so. Okay, something like that, and then we can... Oh, turret's shooting at a meteor that went pretty close by, actually. That's kind of cool. And then we can put down some glass that then curves and slopes and covers over. Oh, we've got turrets lighting all sorts of meteors up. Looks like we just got one. Nice. Good shot, boys. Okay, what do we want to do now? I say we want to establish kind of that outer wall, which is looking like it's going to want to be somewhere here, right? Yeah. So let's just, for argument's sake, and we can greeble and change and adjust and all sorts of things that we want to do later. Although that's not going to work because that needs to actually cover the dome, or I'm hoping that the dome will actually physically cover the Minnow itself. So maybe the answer is we need to start building out from the Minnow and then match as appropriate. That's probably the right call. Something I should have started doing. Could move those batteries. I'm inclined to just leave them though. Effort, you know. Effort is hard. Effort is effort. No, stop it! I keep placing these blocks in the wrong spot. Yeah, I'm thinking just thinking out loud for plans for next episode and farther along in the series. We need. I would really like to find some more contracts, and some not contracts. We have all the contracts we're going to need for the near future, right? I would really like to find some more space stations though, so that we can start getting involved in more and different contracts and buying more and different things, and buy some ships and stuff if we want to and things like that. So that is going to be a priority soon. To do that, I'm going to either have to build a new ship or outfit the small miner there with a hyperdrive, or a jump drive, which we have. I have the ability to make a jump drive for a small ship. Now, do I necessarily have the components? Perhaps not, but we have the technology for... Let's see, that's a light there. Let's go out. We go out one more. Start looking strange, but yeah. So that's going to be something that I start doing pretty soon, is perhaps next episode, putting a jump drive on the ship so that we can get to the moon, which is where a lot of great options tend to be for space stations, or so I'm told. So that's kind of the plan there, but I won't make you guys sit through too many more of these just plain building episodes. I realize they can be perhaps a little bit dull, a little bit boring. It's not my intent to bore you. It's just, the work's got to get done, and I can either do it on camera, which is a lot of work for me, honestly, or I can do it off camera and, maybe spark some discussions and talk to you guys a little bit, because it's fun and nice to talk to you guys. Okay, so we've got the flat window down there. Let's grab our light armor blocks, and let's actually put in something of a structure for support like that. That I like. And then we'll start curving this thing in, because again, I want, and this is totally stupid and not like practical or anything, and it's, some would call it a waste of resources and all sorts of things like that. But I think it would be cool to have the old Minnow walled in and kind of show off, like, hey, this is where we started. This is our origin story, right? We grab the windows and make sure that there's not a better slant. There's a 1x3 slope and the 1x2 slope. 1x3 flat, and of course the 1x1 slope. Did we just go with the 1x2 slope or the 1x1 slope? Let's just stick with the 1x2 slope and see if we can end up making this into a curve and a shape that makes sense. We'll see, not a guarantee. Yeah, that might not actually make sense. I might want to go with the 1x1 slope, in which case let's grab our light armor blocks again. We're going to want, just go ahead and draw this curve out this slant out all the way. Something like that. Probably just turn that spotlight off, too. Oop, and I accidentally just hit the minus key. Whoops. Yeah, let's go ahead and turn this spotlight off. Because we don't really need it anymore. Definitely don't want it lighting up the inside of the glassed area quite to that extent. And I'm almost out of oxygen and hydrogen. That would be bad. Let's go ahead and recharge a little bit. There we go. Oxygen and hydrogen recharge really quickly from the survival kit there. The others, not so much. Energy, not so much. Okay, at this point, I think we need just the 1x1 slope, right? Yeah. Just gonna be a lot of glass. That's okay, though. I'm okay with a lot of glass. We've got shields, gosh dang it. We don't need to be perfectly 100% armored. We can make something that looks cool, gosh dang it. Or the question is, can we? Because it's looking like I'm out of silicon, probably. Silicon wafer. Yeah, very little silicon wafers. Very few silicon wafers. Let's check out our silicon ore. Okay, yeah, so the refinery is ready to go to work on some of that. Oh, and there's more uranium in the cargo container. Cool. Let's actually have you prioritize, just because I'd rather have more of that than less refined and in my reactors. Okay, so that silicon will refine, and it will get made into that bulletproof glass, and those glass plates and windows will be built, ultimately. Okay, here's where we have the question. How many is do I want to make it perfectly symmetrical? The answer, probably yes, and which only takes three sets of windows. Are you even out of girders too? Might have run out of girders. That's entirely possible. Let's queue up another 1,000 or so girders. This is how you know you're starting to get rich in space engineers, is when you can afford to just casually queue up 1,000 of something. That's a nice feeling. Although we're going to need to go refine some iron before too long. Oh yeah, oodles of silicon that we need before we can finish all that bulletproof glass. And same thing with the girders. We're going to just need to go get some more iron ore or melt down some of the steel plates, which doesn't make a ton of sense in my mind to do at this stage. Just because I know that I'm going to use those steel plates, and so why waste the energy and the time melting them down into iron when there's not really an emergency need for iron, and I can just go get some and, yeah, you know, and run around that need entirely. It's kind of my thinking there. Go ahead and place these. Oh, I've been meaning to say for the last couple of videos, a couple of you have said hello from where you live, and I really appreciate that. It's fun to see where people are from. I mean, I can see where people are from on the YouTube analytics page, because on the video analytics, I can see like, oh, I'm getting so many people from the UK and so many people from the US, and or so much percentage of views from the UK and US and things like that. But it's just really fun to see for you guys to say hi and where you're from. I appreciate that. I don't know. We're gonna go ahead and, yes, block that spotlight off. That's okay though. It's purely there for ornamental, decorative reasons. Again, preserving the history of the Minnow, which is how we started the base here. Go ahead and recharge a little bit on energy, and that's all I have patience for right now. We'll end up painting this again, something probably in that red and silver color scheme. Okay, we're starting to get progress made here. I'm liking it. Now, okay, so we got that pretty much done. And then we'll put on some sloped glass and stuff like that that goes all the way up to the top. It'll look lovely, etc., etc., etc. Now let's see what we need to do over here to make this start making sense. So that's the wall that we want to end up having ultimately, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and sketch out another little bit of kind of a mast type thing there so that I know what I'm targeting. Yeah, And I'm out of steel plate. That's okay. Like I say, that's okay if I run out of steel plate, because I've got, well, I guess only 13,000 now. I had 17,000 earlier. Sure, run through a lot of that stuff when you're just spamming plates down, blocks down. Okay, so that is the line that I need to hit. Can I hit it just with these types of blocks? Because that would make my life easier, I think. Or is that going to be too sharp of an incline? That might be too sharp. Okay, so we're going to have a 2x1 slope meeting a 1x1 slope at some point here, which is suboptimal. Also, that is suboptimal. Maybe the 1x1 is the way to go. In which case... Oh, it's nice now that the components fall to the ground because we're in a gravity field. That is really nice. It's just really comforting to be in gravity again, you know? After so long outside of it. Those physiological effects that come from not being in gravity or not spending enough time in gravity, those are real, man. Okay, something like that. That may not stay exactly like that, but for now, that's helpful to be able to see what the target is. And we can mirror that on the other side. Yeah, so we've got, not quite a dome really, but basically I'm just building a big structure, right? A big building, a big hut to hold the Minnow, and our refineries are also going to go in here. Refineries and assemblers. Refinery, that's a word that if you say it so many times it starts sounding weird in your head, right? Refinery, refinery, say it 20 times and like you'll never be able to say it the correct way again. Or hear it without thinking that it sounds super weird. Okay, yeah, something like that. It would look better when it'll look better when the sun is actually up and pointing at it. We'll be able to get a better sense of what it actually looks like. But for now, I am not hating how things are going. Go ahead and place like little bits on the corners here. Maybe. Yeah, we'll put little bits on the corners there. A little bit of slope, but anyway, I'll go ahead and end the episode here, guys. Hope you've enjoyed watching. Come back next time and we'll either do a little bit more base building or start working on getting the miner there hyperdrive capable so we can go do a little bit more exploring. Whatever we do, it'll be fun. I'll have a fun time doing it. So thanks again for watching. Have a great day.